Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of This Week in EU. Today we are going to be talking about all of the news we've seen in the past week within EU, from practice, from pro trios to the drama and everything that I know all about European Fortnite. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is BUYOUT. I am a professional Fortnite coach and I also run the practice server back in EU. So everything that goes on within Europe, I basically know what's going on. So let's dive into some of the top stories of this week. The first piece of news comes from Wave Esports and the recent signing of Jerky, who happens to be the Trio FNCS winner. Now, for those of you that don't know, Jerky was signed to Wave Esports as a academy player. And what this means is that he is not under a contract, as far as I know, with any sort of financial incentive. He is on a contract for $0, which means zero salary, and 0%, which means 0% of his Fortnite earnings are taken from him. Now, after the obvious insane explosion of Jerky's career after winning FNCS, he went from something like 12,000 followers on Twitter to what is now 50,000 followers on Twitter, and an insane growth of his Twitch stream as well. There has been obviously talks about renegotiation of that pro contract, because obviously someone like an FNCS winner does not deserve to be in an academy contract. That's where the story starts. So within the last few weeks, we had a tweet come out from Destiny's Jesus, and since then Veno, who has deleted his tweets, talking and writing #FreeJerky. And what this is referring to is Jerky's sort of situation within Wave Esports, to the point where there has been no sort of chance of him being considered for a better contract or sort of an upgrade towards a pro contract. And obviously there are clear issues with this, because you know, a FNCS winner like himself has a lot of value, and this is a prime position for him to be in, to sort of explore his new options as a player, since he's worth a lot more than he was when he initially signed to Wave Esports. And the community is pretty divided about this sort of decision, because obviously Wave Esports, similarly to how they approached it with Janus, they made a very good signing. Similarly with Janus was signed and then he left towards Guild Esports, and obviously he only did that after his, enormous success after winning FNCS back then as well. And now similarly, the same thing has happened with Jerky. He has joined Wave Esports under an academy contract, and then afterwards he had insane success and now is looking to sort of better his position, or even leave the esports program in order to find better opportunities. And there has been a response from Wave Esports CEO Lou, who basically has responded with saying that they believe that Jerky's value as a player is not up to par to his own expectations. And quote, "Yes, he won an FNCS, but that was his only achievement in 2 years. And it was a team event that he played with one of the most established duos in Europe." Now, obviously, this statement in of itself has a lot of meaning behind it. Now, this is, in my personal opinion, not sort of the way that you want to approach someone as a player, especially when you're talking about them in a public manner. But that is the reasoning to why they don't want to upgrade him towards a pro contract or sort of improve his position within Wave Esports. Overall, there is a balance between the two. I think that Wave is well within their right to keep Jerky for the extension of the contract, until the end of their contract. But obviously, it's a bad situation for Jerky himself, because he has seen massive growth. They have, however, tried to compensate him for another 500 euros for the last 3 months as a sort of bonus, but I feel like the whole situation could have been handled a little bit better from both parties. And for now, they have come to a mutual agreement for the last few months of Jerky's contract. And now a little bit more positive news. 3-time FNCS winner, or 2 times FNCS winner and solo all-star winner, Tayson has been bought out by Falcons Esports from Guild for a total of $115,000. Now, this might be, for most people, a lot of good news, but there has been some sort of controversy within the community about these big organizations coming with a lot of money and sort of disrupting the Fortnite scene and inflating players' salaries. Many managers and even esports owners like Reno, the CEO and owner of Become Legends, had this to say. The throw money at it orgs in Fortnite have damaged the scene permanently. Now obviously this is referring to the hyperinflation of players' salaries within the Fortnite scene. All of these big organizations and companies coming into the Fortnite scene and throwing money at these players, in their perspective, is damaging and sort of can change the way that the Fortnite scene is run now. The Fortnite team manager from G2 Esports said this: "I like Tayson and I'm happy for him, and it really has nothing to do with him. If I got such a deal, I would take it as well. It's just the inflation that is going to hit hard to new businesses like Wave. Not sure why you're not complaining." And he said this in reference to TCK, who is one of Wave's managers as well. The inflation that he's referring to is what I previously mentioned, is the inflation of players' salaries and expectations from organizations within Fortnite on what they should be paid. Obviously, Tayson, a 3x FNCS winner, has a lot of value within the scene. However, a lot of these organizations feel like giving these players, you know, $20,000, $15,000 contracts per month might not be realistic in the long run for all of these organizations. And quite frankly, it isn't really realistic. We know from a recent report that Guild Esports rumored to have lost a total of £4.3 million over their 6 months in a financial report, only boasting a total of $400,000 in revenue and sponsorships. However, they do have a sponsor collective worth of £7.5 million, but do not reveal who this mystery partner is that is paying over £3.6 million over the next 3 years. So as you can see, Guild, who is also responsible for some of this inflation within the Fortnite scene, paying the big players like Hen and Janice massive amounts of money, are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars or pounds per month just on these players with no real return. Personally, I think if these organizations are coming into Fortnite, it can only be a good thing. Big money coming into Fortnite means it's beneficial for the players, brings more sponsorships, brings a lot more attention to the scene. However, I can understand as a small organization owner or a business owner, it could be a scary prospect to go against big money. In the end though, it is a business, and whether or not these companies continue to invest in Fortnite, we will have to see. But Guild has been in the scene for 6 months. Falcon Esports is an organization within Middle East that has been going on strong for a long time as well. So I think they're here to stay for the long run. This next part is focused about some of the pro trios that we have been seeing in Noble practice, which is the new 2-1 practice going on in EU right now. And obviously the biggest one that most people are looking at is the new options for Mongraals. Now, after a poor performance in the last 2 seasons, it seems like Mongraals is back on track to try to find a new trio to grind with and work hard in order to place this season. In a groundbreaking new season, we have seen Mongraals take part in pro practice, which we haven't seen for a few months now. And I know we're all excited to see who he's going to be trying out with, how they were doing, so let's get into that. Mongraals in Noble Scrims has been trying out at least one session with Void and Aqua. Now this seems to be a pretty surprising combination, because I think we have seen Aqua talk to Amar before on his stream and talk about not wanting to trio with Mongraals ever. Whether or not this is a serious show, we don't know, but it is exciting to see Mongraals get back into the swing of things and try out different people and seeing how that works. Now in terms of result, obviously one session of practice isn't going to mean much, but on the screen right here you can see every single game that they played and the results in that game as well. Now the nice thing is that they did actually win one of the games, which was game number 4. The rest of the games they basically didn't break into the top 15 at all, except for the first game, but you know, sort of an okay performance for this trio. One thing that is noted is that they didn't land in the original spot because Bony Burbs was already taken. So yes, they're trying to land Bony Burbs. So in this session they landed to the bottom left of Slurpee, so the Slurpels and Logjam side, and they had this sort of result from there. Whether or not those stick together, we'll have to see, but there is still a lot of time until the first FNCS season, and with Cash Cups in a few more weeks, they have time to practice and see who they want to try out. Another piece of news comes out of TrainHard Esports, who after a long while and a long standing within the Fortnite community has come to a stop and are closing its doors today. After many years of esports, they are closing down all of their staff and stopping all of their players' contracts. Now that is not the biggest piece of news. Coming out a few hours ago, Umfight tweeted out this: Wanted to tell everyone I haven't been paying 17,000 euros I was owed in salary from TrainHard, and they randomly told us they were stopping and ignored every message we were sending. We're asking what's going to happen with our salary. We thought it was trustworthy since we got paid out of our last contract, but we're getting left on red now. We really don't know what to do. Can we take legal action? If anyone knows what we can do, please let us know. So from what we can gather from this tweet, it seems like Amplify wasn't completely aware of TrainHard shutting down, and now they are being left on red and not getting any of the messages responded to for their salaries. Whether or not this will become a bigger story, who knows, but it is not looking good for TrainHard. Sources are saying that their initial investors have run away and sort of left that company in the dust. Who knows if that's the truth, but at this point nothing has come from this yet. The last thing I want to talk about is not really news, but sort of more of a talking down to the Fortnite EU community. There is actually, as I'm talking about this now, a $2 million charity tournament going on, organized Gamers Without Borders. Basically a nice little charity tournament where Fortnite players could play as duos, $2 million in prize pool, lots of money on the line, celebrity endorsements, whatever. And after the first day, which was yesterday, after the third game, there were only 64 people queued, and now today, after the second game, there was only like 60 people queued in total. Now, I don't know the individuals that have stopped playing a charity tournament. However, I just want to preface by saying this: if you're agreeing to play a tournament, have the respect for the organizers and finish it from start to the finish, especially when it has to do with charity. You are representing the Fortnite community, you are representing gamers, you're representing an organization, and also people within our community. So when you accept these sort of big things for charity, especially this much money, have the decency and finish the games out. Shame on you for not finishing every single game. I will find you. That is sort of the biggest things I could see within the EU community this week. If you enjoyed it, hopefully you can subscribe and give it a like, and maybe I'll do this a lot more in the futures. Have yourself a good rest of your day, and goodbye.